Right, hi, it's Rob and we're on image training course video number 16, and this is pretty much the SEO side of images, and it is very important. Okay, so to summarize it for you, you need to do your image titles, you need to resize, which I've covered in the previous two videos. You need to do your meta description, your meta tags. I'll probably cover this too right now and share them socially. And one more thing, if you local search, in other words, you're a hairdresser, plumber, in other words, Google's going to find you by area, suburb. You're a Johannesburg or a Toronto web design SEO specialist, you need to put that geo tagging. I'm going to be doing it at the end here, geo tagging, but you do need to cover it. So we'll talk about that, but whoa, sorry guys, my brain is working today, but sometimes it's doubtful. Okay, so so that was basically it. Let me try not to make this a long video. So first up, when you've done your recropping and resizes, you've now got a folder with all these images in it as per what you want, right? You would then take each image and you would rename it. So in this case, it's 510 by 510 number 1, and you would rename it to the keyword. You keep the dimensions if possible, by the way. Google likes to see the sizes. So this will be travel by air. You're using a keyword, right, that you've researched. That is good. So I'm just making it up, and that's basically it. Okay, so and you would do the same for every one of these. You would mix up your titles if possible. The do as I say trick here, I do this. No, I shouldn't show you what I do. I'd rename them all in one shot. So I literally right click it, I do rename. I'm not going to do it here, and boops, they all go number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it's very, very naughty. Okay, so rename title as per keyword, keep the dimensions in the description, right? A lazy trick for me is I click rename and I copy it, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to right click it and I'm going to go to properties, right? So now I want to edit the SEO side of this, which is called meta tags, right? So I go into here. By the way, it doesn't work with PNG, but it does with a JPEG. This must be a PNG. It says JPEG. Details, my bad. I'm a bit doof. Told you, so there's something wrong with the brain. Right, so I'm going to paste in the title that I wanted in there, and I'm going to put there a new version of whatever I want, from a better description, because again, you see, here's what's happening. You're doing this because you want Google to find your images very heavily related to your niche and your keywords, yeah? And to do that, you've got to tell Google in words what this image is all about. So you literally would do a big description here of, it doesn't matter, but think and do it correctly, right? Give yourself a 5-star rating because you deserve it, right? Right, now tags, again, you would take your top 5 keywords and you would do them in here. So again, I'm doing this without, oops, double oops. Why won't that go away? Okay, fine. And I would literally add in about 10 or 15 tags, very, very related to this title again. So you do have to think. Now, and so let me carry on. Comments, I would paste the URL of your website in here too. It can be seen as over optimizing it, so let me tell you, you can choose if you want to do that or not. And you would then literally write a paragraph in here about air travel and traveling around by air and why you'd want to travel by air, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can then take it further and put in your website details or your full description as an author. That's pretty cool, so that's fine too, and that's all cool too. So there we go. I think you can fiddle with that if you're worried. By the way, I don't worry. Let me add this. I don't worry to protect my images. Because if I've gone in here and I've put in under my comments my URL, and some guy pinches my images and uses it on his website, I think I get a backlink for free. It's like, I really want people to give me backlinks, and then I complain when they use my images. Oh, you can't use my images. Of course they can. Please share my images if you've used the one which is the correct one, which is on my website, which has all the correct meta tags. And if they're clever enough to change the meta tags, good for them. Happy birthday. So when you've done all of that, you click apply, and you've now got a correctly done by the way, sorry to tell you this. If you go back there, double check it. It did. Sometimes it doesn't, and you have to just kind of, complain out loud, use bad language, and fix it. So that way, you will now do meta titles and meta tags for every one of your images. Or you remember I told you to take 50 images and resize them all to 10 different sizes, which is 500 images. You don't need to do 500 descriptions and titles. Just use them as you use them. So if you know you're going to use this image, then you'd simply come in here, you'd go to properties, you'd sail down here, you'd click on details, and you would firstly you would rename it, and then you would do all of the meta tags per site. Okay, now, so that's step number one. That is, so you've resized it, you've compressed it, you've done your title, your meta description, right? And that leaves you with two more things to do if you haven't also done geotagging. Geotagging, by the way, let's go back in here. Geotagging will show up in here. I have no clue where. Somewhere. That's me. It'll show up in here anyway, which is cool. You want Google to find it. Now, why do you want to do all of this? Here's why. Boston Terrier, if I could just learn to spell Terrier, T-R-I-E-R, mugs. Coffee mugs, let's try that. So Boston Terrier coffee mugs, right? If somebody's looking for that, there's a fair chance that they're going to go to shopping or they're going to go to images. If they go to images, Google's going to throw up the ones that paid first. There we go, sponsored. Well done, Google. I love that they do that. And then after that, if you've done your image right, please don't judge me, your images could and or should show up right here, and you will get sales. Let's have a look if you can find one of mine while I've got this far. No. Interesting. I'm busy looking here to see, whereas I could probably recognize my images easily. So you see, very embarrassing. Bad Rob. I've got this far down and I still can't see any of my own. I might have passed one or two, by the way, so no big deal. Nice image, huh? Sorry. So, but proof, by the way, also, here, you need to know this, that if you also kind of don't do any work on your website, these also drop down, 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 down. Let's go back up here just to show you something very, very interesting. If you take away coffee and you just search for Boston Terrier mugs, you're going to get different images because it's a different keyword and it gets a different result in the search engine. So it's the kind of thing that you need to be aware of when you're doing your SEO and putting your stuff up online, so that you're getting, by the way, here's the one of mine. I was scrolling and talking, and there's one there too. So obviously I have optimized for Boston Terrier mugs, not Boston Terrier coffee mugs, which means I should do both. Because here's what's going to happen is, let's just say there's another one there. So here's what happens. Let's say this one, they think, well, that's quite cool, right? And then they look and they think, okay, what do? They come to your website, right? And hopefully, if you've done it, okay, it's gone right to the sales thing. Good for me. So it means they can click and buy it. But down here should be other mugs, and up here will be mugs. So they could, there we go, you see it doesn't say coffee mugs, mine say Boston Terrier mugs. And then they can go through other mugs. So can you see all of this works, but because you want Google. By the way, it's not just to rank for images. So let's go back to here. It's not just for this or this, wherever it was here, back here in the search. How do I get rid of that? If each image tells Google what your stuff is about, your page will rank better too. Sorry, I should have told you that. Now, if you go into your website, am I in here? I'm not. Okay, let me pause this and log in and show you. One sec. Okay, I've gone, there's two ways of doing this. I've gone into the media library and I just chose the first image up, and this is typical. So that's not what it should be called. I was doing this to train somebody the other day, and her name was Lynette. So I just made up a dummy one. Anyway, now here I should put there gold-plated name tag and jewelry necklace, because alternative text Google likes. Caption I always leave off, because if you add a caption, it throws it in down below the image on every single time the image is up, and I find that's not good. But you can put your buy now, click here, and then the description from an SEO point of view, put there gold-plated gift necklace, personalized, gold-plated. Can you see? So you're putting together keywords that relate to that. So that's one of the ways of doing it. And then once you've done that, you click save. But it's not how you would have loaded it when you did an image loaded. Okay, so you would, let's just go to pages, and I'll actually edit a page quickly. So I've got no idea. Let me try dog gifts. Sorry, I have no clue what's going to pitch up. Welcome to the new Divi Builder. I haven't worked on this site for so long, it doesn't even know about me. Oh, it's embarrassing. So give it a second to load. Technical difficulties. Really. Okay, I'm going to pause while this loads. Sorry about that. It needed to be updated. Every time you go in and there's update, do it. Okay, so I'm going to just presume here that I'm going to duplicate this. So if you haven't watched and you don't know how to do Divi, my bad, you watch the training. I'm just going to duplicate this and I'm going to edit this image, whatever. Sorry. That's funny, but it's not so funny. I can't. That's embarrassing. I'm going to bail on that one and find another image. No, there's none. So I'm going to add an image in here. Sorry, I shouldn't get such joy from my own stuff. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to find image, which is an eye. So it'll be back up here somewhere. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click add image, and I'm going to go to from my desktop. I can probably remember, presuming that I've loaded this correctly in the first place, right? So no, give me a sec. I'm going to, sorry, I was going to say do it the right way, and I even paused it while I was talking. So I'm just going to drag that image over that I was busy showing you, travel by air, right? So now if you look, it's correctly labeled travel by air 510 by 510, and inside of it, its meta titles, etc. are correct. So here's what you do is you remove the caption. Remember, you don't want the caption, but you put the alternate alt text in there. So again, that will be keyword orientated, right? And you will redo a description. Remember, you've done a description already in the meta description of this, but you'd redo a description in here that relates to the SEO of your right. I see it's busy smushing it, so I do have smush in here. This is an image compression plugin, and I then do what I need to do here. I align it to the left, the center. I link to, if you don't want, I choose the size I want to do it on, and I click upload image. Okay, so now what it's done is, this whole section of this is to show you how to do this correctly. So when I click save changes, crap, I better learn how to find this one, and then I go to preview changes, you will now have a correctly sized image that is very, very happily added to sorry, Henderson gets too big, it said. So somewhere down here, interesting, somewhere very far down here will be the image I added. Okay, I didn't even see it, so it's I didn't center it even. So there's my image. Okay, so this centering it would be dependent on me doing it correctly in here, but I don't need this whole section of my image, so I'm gonna trash it, and I'm gonna quickly close this and don't let it save. So I'm just gonna go to my dashboard, discard and exit. So that's it. So you must do your what's the word I'm looking for, your meta titles, etc. correctly, and then you've still got to redo the description onto the site. Right, I think that covers everything you need to from an SEO point of view. Let's check what I said in here so that I have covered it. Even though I've told you my brain's working today, it seems to be working in a weird way. So yes, you've done your titles, you've resized it per compression and per width and height. You've given it correct meta tags, title descriptions, meta descriptions, etc. You've loaded it correctly into WordPress. It's beautiful. Now, you can share your images directly, but really what it is, I've said just share all images socially. You've got to share the page and share it. But if the image is really cool and it's got text and stuff on it, then take the images individually still from your desktop, right? So here, I'll move the other one. So it's here. You take this image and you load it to image places, Pinterest, Facebook, and on those places you add the link back to the page you've put it on. Good SEO, people, it works. Right, I'm done on this video. I'm gonna get through it and we'll come back for the next video. Cool, take care, cheers.